for many of us as we kind of start to move into this whole idea of mind, body, and spirit all together, all with all of our might, that you think, well, I'm just not that, I'm not that comfortable raising my hands. And I think it's important to acknowledge right from the very start that nobody's really comfortable doing this with God at the very beginning, but we do this. And what ends up happening is we take these steps out of our comfort zone. And as we get outside of our comfort zone, then the actually the willful choices then turn into habits over time and turn into freedom in the long run. So I love the way that this is recorded in the book of Psalms. In Psalm 34, I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise will continually or always be on my lips. Here's what the psalmist is saying, is that I'm making the choice to do this, and my choices will then in the end turn into habits, and my habits will turn into freedom over time. But I think that it's really important to acknowledge at the very beginning that some of these things are just a little uncomfortable to get started with. Sometimes if you're going to get down on your knees, it's like, well, that's not really all that comfortable. It's like, well, no, it isn't. And sometimes if you're not used to being on your knees, it feels a little uncomfortable. But perhaps the best way to do it is to start in your own time with God, is to start raising your hands to God when you're just spending time with Him. That you open up the Psalms and you begin to read the Psalms, and you open up your hands as you are as you're reading the Psalms to Him. You are worshiping Him, and you're worshiping Him on your own, and you're starting to get more comfortable and more fluid with these motions, with these actions, with these gestures of worship. And so as you do, you're kind of pushing into territory that you don't own yet, but you are pushing into that territory with the idea in mind that as I go with this, that these pushing through is going to become habits, and those habits are going to become freedom. And I'm going to be able to worship God with all of everything that I am, not just part of who I am, but with all of who I am.